Rockets and Warriors in Houston. Kevin Durant will not play, and all the Rockets' big guns will, which is why Houston is such a heavy favorite to win tonight, tie the series, and force a Game 7 back in Oakland. Frank, are you down with this presumption, first of all, and do you expect the Rockets to be up to the challenge tonight?
You know what? No more excuses. And, Michael, go back to 2 years ago when they played San Antonio, similar situation, Game 6 at home, no Kawhi Leonard, and James Harden was basically a no-show. 2 for 11, 6 turnovers. He fouled out of the game. You cannot have that. This is your time if you're the Houston Rockets. If you're Chris Paul, if you're James Harden, you have to win this game. Kevin Durant has been the best player in the postseason, averaging 34 points. How are the Golden State Warriors going to score? I get it. They got Curry and Klay Thompson. That's the issue for me, Michael. Can the Warriors score enough points?
Well, I agree. Here's the other thing, Frank. Do the Warriors have enough energy to put in 48 minutes tonight? I mean, at some point, if they're down in the fourth quarter, given how short they are, remember, they're not just short Kevin Durant, they're short Kevin Durant and Boogie Cousins.
That's right.
They're short 2 starters. They don't have the bench that they had 4 years ago. People say, oh, this is just like going back to 2015. No, it actually isn't. And so the Warriors have a lot of issues. The Houston Rockets need to wipe the floor with Golden State. And it's not because you don't get style points. It's not about that. It's about how they feel about themselves tonight, after tonight, and when they're on that flight tomorrow, going back to Oakland, trying to win Game 7. And so I know, forgive us if we're looking over this game, because we know Steve Kerr and his team, they're not overlooking this game. They got to think they got a shot. They don't have as much pressure at all as the Rockets. But you know what? At some point, Frank, every program, every building situation has a certain momentum, a natural momentum. The Rockets better win. Or they're going to be looked at, and they know this. I mean, there's some franchises that never got it done, that never finished it off, and they lament it. Decades later, you and I talk to players at the end, I mean, later in their lives who say, you know what, we had this chance, we had this game, we didn't do it. The Rockets are at that point.
Yeah, you never know when you're going to get a chance like this again. And remember, it's Kevin Durant, by far the best player. That's 34 points a game. And my thing about the Warriors, what I worry about, a quick turnaround if they were to lose tonight. That game's going to be 12:30 local time. In a season where everyone rests, they're going to play 2 games now before the other series play a Game 7. That concerns me. And I wonder about that bench. If during, before the trade deadline, if they should have gone out and tried to get somebody, because I don't think that bench right now, Michael, is deep enough.
No, and it's not the same bench as it was, even though the personalities are the same. We're talking about 4 years from 2015 when they won without Kevin Durant.
Yeah, they're going to need something, whether it's Andrew Bogut, Sean Livingston, somebody has to give them something. All right, the Philadelphia 76ers are very much alive. And in a related story, Joel Embiid has been found. The All-Star center, who was both ill and ineffective in Games 4 and 5, finished with 17 points and 12 rebounds in last night's win against the Toronto Raptors. In fact, think about this. Embiid was a plus 40 in a game the Sixers won by 11. That's not easy to do. Sunday will be the first ever Game 7 for the process. So, Michael, what are you expecting from Embiid?
You know what? I expected a big game from him in Game 5, and he didn't produce it. And that was on the road, and Game 7 is going to be on the road. And you would think that Embiid, who's a smart guy and a really talented guy as well, he's going to realize, at some point, nobody's going to care whether you're sick. There have been guys who played great in times where they were ill on the road in big playoff games. I'm not even going to mention the one in Utah
23.
in 1997, but, we'll let that go. I think I'm going to give Embiid another chance here in terms of expectations. I think Philly has the people, the wherewithal, the savvy, the experience. I think they actually have what it takes within them to go up to Toronto and win. But, I mean, Toronto's got the best player in this series. It's not Embiid. It's Kawhi Leonard, and so they got him to deal with.
And this is why Toronto went out and got Kawhi Leonard. For moments like this, to win this game, a Game 7 at home. This is a game Toronto has to have. If I'm Philadelphia, I can't rely on Joel Embiid. I've seen the way that he's played on the road the last couple of games. Now, we did have 33 and 10 in this series. That was a home game. I'll tell you what, a guy that you know very well, if Philly's going to win, I think it's going to be Jimmy Butler. The last 5 games of this series,
I agree with that.
He has scored at least 22 points. In the first round, he was willing to kind of be that role player, Michael. Now he's starting to emerge. I think Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid at Game 7, I can't count on them just now. The one guy I'm going to count on is Butler. I'm going to hope that J.J. Redick can knock down shots, because if he can, that'll open things up for Embiid and for Ben Simmons.
You and I have been at too many playoff games together, and we talked to too many coaches over the years, and we expect the same thing from
Yep.
I mean, if you say to me, who are you going to put your money on? It's going to be Jimmy Butler and secondarily J.J. Redick. I mean, these guys have been in big playoff games in their lives. Game 5s, Game 6, they've performed. They've had disappointment. They've had some successes. So I expect something sort of epic in Game 7.
Who are you taking, Toronto or Philadelphia?
It's hard to go against Kawhi.
That's the way I feel. I'm going with Kawhi.
This is really, we got some good Game 7s, speaking of which.
And we might have 3.
A second Game 7 is already set for Sunday in Denver. The most entertaining series of the playoffs to many of us has been Trailblazers Nuggets. It's been a coming out party for Nikola Jokic and a confirmation of greatness for Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum. What one wag called, quote, the series that time forgot, close quote, is going to produce a Game 7 winner with momentum and swag and maybe a chance to get to the NBA Finals. Frank, with what's going on with the Warriors, do you now see this as more than a consolation series?
Absolutely. This opens the door for everybody. If you're Portland and Denver, you don't know when you're ever going to get this opportunity again. One game, you get to a conference finals, a chance to get to an NBA Finals. And I think for Denver, you look at that front line of Jokic, who's been, to me, the breakout star of the playoffs, and Paul Millsap. Can they dominate Portland's front line like they had? Last night, McCollum, Damian Lillard, 62 points. If Portland's going to win, it's going to have to be the backcourt, and for Denver, it's got to be those 2 big guys up front.
Totally agree again, Frank, and it's hard to have a second great performance. People look at one great performance in a playoff game in a Game 5, and they go for Game 6. Well, these guys just did that. Well, this means Denver's making some adjustments on the day off and going into this game. Nikola Jokic is the best player in this series. I can't believe I'm saying that, but he's the most impactful player because of what he can do offensively and rebounding, and he could put up a triple-double. And I'm not shy about saying this. Dame Lillard along with Jimmy Butler, those are probably 2 of my favorite players in the league. And Lillard has been nothing short of great, and it's not his first time being great in the playoffs. But you're going on the road to play in Denver. There's a reason that they had the record they had, the best record in the West this season. And, man, I mean, can they slow down Jokic? Is there some adjustment they can make to deal with him with their own shorthanded roster, Frank? Yeah,
you meant best home record in the NBA this season for the Denver Nuggets.
Record, yes.
This is a guy you didn't mention. Rodney Hood last night, 25 points. Think about Rodney Hood. Last year on Cleveland, scored a total of 91 points in the playoffs. He has 97 points in this series. And I know that LeBron makes everybody better, but, man, George Hill and Rodney Hood, who didn't do anything for Cleveland, have been great. But how about the way that Rodney Hood has played thus far in the playoffs? He's been great for them.
I mean, Hood has given them something now they know they can go to, which may even mean a brief blow for McCollum or Lillard. And so he has become this X factor. I don't know if he can do this on the road in a Game 7. That's not what you expect your role players to do. But this has become a wonderful series. And yes, the winner has a puncher's chance against Golden State or Houston in the next round.
All right, I'm not letting you off the hook. Who do you like? I got Denver. I got the home team winning.
I got Denver in that one, too. And that's, again, Frank,
hard
but would it surprise either one of us?
Nope.
If the other team that we're not picking won these Game 7s.
I know, and made it to an NBA Finals maybe. All right, Albert Pujols joined an exclusive club recording his 2000th career RBI with a solo home run in Detroit on Wednesday, but that historic baseball remains in the possession of Eli Hides, a fan who refused countless offers from the Angels, Tigers, and MLB to turn over the ball. Pujols said he wouldn't pay, quote, 1 penny for the ball and said, quote, we play this game for the fans. All right, Michael, if Pujols is okay with it, should baseball be okay with Hides keeping the souvenir?
Everybody should be okay with it. Absolutely, yes. First of all, what happened for the first 50 years of baseball when they couldn't even find some of these balls?
That's right.
They went into Ivy in different parks. It wasn't just Wrigley Field. It was Forbes and others. It went into Ivy. They got lost in parking lots. Fans took balls. Kids took them and went home. People didn't always have some tracker, some tracer. This is junk from the memorabilia era. So, yes, they should be. I love Pujols' attitude about this.
Now, MLB would not authenticate the ball. You think they're being pretty petty here by not doing that?
I don't care about the authentication. I don't care. If this guy gets something out of having the ball that's tangible or intangible, good for him. And you think they got a bat? They got the jersey. You got enough other stuff.
He didn't want any of that. He didn't want it. Now think about this, Michael. Here's a guy.
No, I don't mean him. I mean baseball. I mean Cooperstown.
Of course.
Cooperstown has all these other things. The bats. How many balls are in Cooper? I've been there. What, you're going to sit there and go, oh, my God, they don't have the ball. I can't look at the artifacts that have been brought in from that game and that experience. That's crazy.
Mike, here's a guy who, as a kid, his father took him to every Major League Baseball park. He's taken his glove to every game, never got a ball in his life. He finally gets one. Now, it happens to be career RBI 2000. Only Hank Aaron and Alex Rodriguez have done it before. Now, everyone's trying to think it's a money grab, but I don't care about the money. I just want the ball. All his life, he's wanted one ball. He finally got it. It's a historic ball.
I'm glad this confounds all the great keepers of the game and what they feel they have to do as the overlords of baseball. Shut up. Let that guy keep his ball. Listen, I've never been a Pujols fan. I couldn't be because he's a Cardinal still in my mind. And I'm a Cub fan.
That was an angel.
He's still a Cardinal. But this is great for Pujols. I really like this about Albert Pujols. All right, we're taking a break. We're coming up. As the Lakers stumble toward finding a new coach, what's LeBron feeling about his next 3 years under contract?
And is the Pelicans' latest attempt to woo back Anthony Davis already over? Going to be a lot of talk about Anthony Davis all summer long.
Oh, man. Won't be as much talk if he stays.
Maybe they'll get LeBron.
Frank and I have written millions of words in our careers. Let's see if he's got any good ones left. And what's the word? What's first?
LeBron must be feeling blank about his next 3 years with the Lakers.
Frank, just so you think there's no new development, have you seen any video of this rally, this anti-Lakers rally outside Staples attended by like 8 people? But nonetheless, I mean, this is more fallout. Who's going to coach the Lakers? Where are they going to go next? What are they going to do? Listen, LeBron, to me, must be feeling Tinseltown about his next 3 years with the Lakers. LeBron has more things on the air as executive producer than Dick Wolf. What does he care about basketball? He doesn't need to. LeBron, his new career has already started. It's in full bloom. He's got stuff. He'll be nominated in like 18 Emmy categories. Tinseltown, Frank, is what LeBron must be feeling.
By the way, I did the count on that rally. About 41 people were there. But,
I'm sorry.
But come on, Michael. He's still about his legacy. When you go to the Lakers, it's about winning championships. That's why the word is queasy, because think about what happened. He lost his security blanket, Magic Johnson. Then he thinks he's going to get his coach, Tyronn Lue. The deal looks like it could happen. That falls apart. How can he trust the people running it right now? He must be thinking to himself, I've got myself in a lot of trouble. I'm going to be 35 in December. How can he not feel anything but queasy about the current state?
We call that a good storyline in Tinseltown, Frank. That's all that is. LeBron can make something out of that.
That's true.
What's next?
The Seth Curry-Will Barton scuffle was blank.
Did you see this last night? I mean, Seth Curry looked like he was trying to help up a teammate, fallen teammate, just in the middle of the court, usual thing. Somebody goes down, you help him up. And then Will Barton got in his face. I mean, you're going to see Will Barton shoves him. First of all, he should have been given a tech there and a second one there for finger in the face. It should have been thrown out. And I don't understand this. Jimmy Capers, my man, who was like the best official in the league and a dear friend, I'm going to say this was poorly adjudicated, and Bullet will jump all over me later. But you can't give them both. Mike, the same penalty, the same tech? No. Barton instigated this. Get him out.
He didn't instigate anything. You're like UB Brown. Zach Collins fell into Will Barton's knee, so he jumped back and pushed. Then Seth Curry jumped in. Did you hear what my word is sassy, because that's what Curry said after the game. He said, they've got a few sassy dudes over there. Then he called them front runners. I've never heard another NBA player call a bunch of other NBA players sassy.
How great is that?
Wait. That one.
Are you going to tell me Will Barton wasn't the instigator and should have gotten more? Even if you give him one tech, you can't give Curry anything.
Embellished what he did, so he fell into his knee. Will Barton's sick, and I almost got hurt.
That has nothing to do with Curry. Curry got the tech.
And Collins, I'll tell you what. He's an instigator. He likes being part of that. He also had 14 points and 5 block shots.
Pretty good.
Yes.
He's turned into a pretty good player.
Don't let that haircut fool you. He's a tough guy out there.
Yeah, I don't like him. He got away with a goaltend against Northwestern, but that's another story. What's next?
The Pelicans really need to blank Anthony Davis.
The Pelicans really need to work Anthony Davis. David Griffin, the new, whatever the title is, president, GM, boss of basketball operations in New Orleans, has a meeting scheduled. But there's a report down in New Orleans already that Anthony Davis is probably not moving off his notion to be traded. He hasn't been worked yet. David Griffin knows what he's doing. He's had to persuade a lot tougher people, a lot more ornery people than Anthony Davis. So I think they work him. I think you see what you've got. I still think Anthony Davis, Frank, can wind up in New Orleans. It might be the best place for him.
Yeah, maybe David Griffin will trade for LeBron James. He could reunite LeBron with David Griffin with Anthony Davis. It'd be a little bit different. My word is maximize, because if you're David Griffin, a big day is going to be Tuesday. That's the day of the draft lottery, and we'll see who gets the number one pick. And would the team with the number one pick be willing to maybe trade that pick to get Anthony Davis? David Griffin is smart. When he first got the job, he said, I'm going to keep Anthony Davis. He's not telling everybody we're trading him. So he's going to meet with Anthony Davis and say, if you want to be moved, just keep it down, because between now and July 1st, we'll try to do something. And don't count out the Boston Celtics, because if he ends up there, maybe you will get Kyrie Irving re-signing with the Celtics. Could happen. Maximize.
Is that a prize anymore, getting Kyrie Irving? And by the way, Rich Paul and David Griffin, they know their way around one another. They have for a few years now. What's next?
Last one, it's blank that Neymar got a 3-game ban for hitting a fan.
Have you seen this, Frank, the video of this, where Neymar is involved in some losing game? And this is like over a week ago. And I've seen this before. They lead the team up through the stands to some silly podium, you know, and so this is European. This ain't happening in the U.S. First of all, it's not happening to lead the players through the stands. And secondly, you got to have security. You're not going to let some fan just be jawing at the most important property in European sport. And he didn't really hit him. He gave him a noogie. So it's European.
He still hit him.
He didn't hit him. He didn't do anything to him.
Well, he plays for Paris Saint-Germain, so I'll give you a French word. How about deja vu? Because he's already been banned for 3 matches in the Champions League because he went after the match officials on social media. So Neymar has done this before. By the way, how about Neymar's apology? He said, I was wrong, but I don't have cockroach blood. What the heck does that mean?
It's a great line.
It sounds better in Portuguese.
I'm not scurrying away like some cockroach. In other words, I ain't scared.
Sacre bleu, as they say.
Eat your words, Frank. Let's take one last break, but still to come. We'll tell you what happened with Tony Romo out at the Byron Nelson.
And Kyler Murray makes his mini camp debut. We'll break it down when we come back. Why else is Mike in Phoenix? He's watching Kyler Murray play. Good job, Mike.
Yeah, because